Watch ball if I'm sick. Watch ball till I faint. At my high school dance, I would only grind tape. I got ball in the blood, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like LeVar, I got balls coming out of my nuts. My eyes got red from the THC. Television's hecka close to me. Except I don't like the NBA. Watching Nicky Smokes play has ruined the game. I'll watch ball on any field, blue to the green. Call me Elmer because I'm glued to the screen. I'm watching ball. It probably won't relate to y'all. I watch it in the summer and not just the fall. I'm a ball watching menace. That includes tennis. Time is stopping when I'm ball watch. I'm watching ball. It probably won't relate to y'all. I'm just built different. It's not your fault. I watch it all. From Anaheim to Montreal. Hockey's ball too, and I'm streaming it all. When I sit down and watch TV, everybody knows you can't touch me because I don't like to be touched. Ball don't lie, but your girl does, and the real six-man has weigh-ins in it. Plus the server's down, that's why I missed the net. Watch all college ball on ESPN+, watching Drake versus Lamar. They not like us, I'm watching ball. It probably won't relate to y'all. I watch it in the summer and not just the fall. I'm a ball watching menace. That includes tennis. Time is stopping when I'm ball watch. I'm watching ball. It probably won't relate to y'all. I'm just built different. It's not your fault. I watch it all. From Anaheim to Montreal. Hockey's ball too, and I'm streaming it all. If you ain't heard yet, you will right now. Watching balls, how we get down. FanDuel on the pad, DraftKings on my phone. Done bet so much on ball, I can keep the lights on. Still go to the mall, showing out in the Phantom. Watch ball like me, here's your ball watching anthem. Your favorite team's losing and they fans throwing tantrums. All my parlays hitting, payout look like a ransom. Keep shit low key, ain't fucking with no Rams trolls. Come here, crime must be all out of Tampa. And I don't care if that's unsexist, that ain't really how I meant it. Just mess and quit pressing, you can leave me out your mentions. Best kill the second guessing, won't pay it no attention. If I hate hoes, I confess it, but it's just a misconception. Boo, you precious, no more stressing. Save your breath, won't learn my lesson. Listen, someone should have told you watching ball with me's a blessing. Ah! Welcome in, gang. Coach, super pumped to have you. So first, gonna start with a little bit of cleanup in the last one with the Mark McGwire thing. Coach forgot to mention that he had a 62 home run season. Right, so that's good for a 26. Rodney King with the LA riots, that's 92. We might be looking at some riots in LA this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Just saying, with all the ICE stuff, that seems to be, have a pretty high Hispanic population. It's right on the border-ish, right? So, of course, giant state, but, LA specifically, I think is we could definitely see some fireworks there. Now, talking about like the Harris Blitzer thing, of course they had Tobias Harris and Kamala Harris was running for president. Oh, and I didn't mention the Gibbs racing. Of course, we got Gibbs as the running back on the Lions. Joe Gibbs, we got his Skins winning it before too long, when they get their name back and move to D.C. Let's see. Favre's dad, Brett Favre. His dad was named Irvin. Of course, that caught Coach's attention because of Julius Irvin, etc. Now, Coach was watching a Netflix special called Untold Favre because basically Coach was just so fired up about blowing the NFC Championship that he just went straight to hitting any topic he could find. He was going to try to steer away from NFL, but it was really just specifically not about the Super Bowl. It's fine, right? So I was like, well, this is the first one that pops up. Let's just watch it. It's only like an hour long. So the interesting thing that caught Coach's attention is, so when he was in college, there was this girl who was in the stands who got famous just like for being in the stands of Brett Favre's game. Well, she gets hired by the Jets. Brett Favre eventually lands on the Jets. There's some big, SA scandal, right, where he's harassing her with texts and stuff like that. And I thought it was interesting, of course, Aaron Rodgers ends up on the Jets as well. Oh, here's a banger for you. Here's a banger. If you think Coach is steering you wrong, how do you want to know if Coach might be able to predict the future? Well, the past seems to, if you use Coach's formula, it's time and time again, right? So you want to check out these 49ers, who I already told you won in 94, right? A flip of 49. Well, how about they're named after the 1894 Gold Rush? Who do you think won in 1984? Of course, the freaking 49ers won the Super Bowl in 1984 when they're named after 1894. I mean, come on, dude. That's just ridiculous. No, and of course, that's even worse than flipping the 49 to 94 in coach's opinion. Like, that's just flagrant. To do both, like, they're not even trying to hide it because people are so blinded. Like, the brainwashing of sports fans cannot be overstated. It's bad. It's dire. It's dystopian. It's Orwellian. It's whatever you want to call it, right? So moving on, right? I can't quite figure out a way for the Sixers to end up with Steph Curry other than the Warriors seem to be making bad moves. They certainly owe us a solid from the Andre Iguodala trade. They probably wouldn't have all their championships without that. Of course, we share the history with, we gave him the Warriors to begin with. Like, can you help us a little bit, fam? Like, he's getting old. Let's give you, like, every pick ever. How about every pick ever that the Sixers will ever have for Steph Curry right now? Can we do that? Right, so that's what Coach is thinking. Let's see. Okay, so Chris Webby, rapper, of course, makes you think of Chris Webber. Coach found another Chris Webber, though, not the one I was looking for, who apparently is a guitarist in Guns N' Roses. So that's something. Christopher Garrison Webber, of course, like Garrison Hurst. C. Webb, his real name is Mace Edward Christopher Webber III. It makes me think like Mace the rapper. Of course, he went and played with Iverson on the Sixers. Here's a troll. Shmew or doo-doo? Right, so Mr. Sphinx here, who has 0 subscribers. Coach said, nice Egyptian symbolism. Surely you're on the level. 4 days, still no subs. My first video ever has 200,000 views. This will end well for you. Okay, so we talked about Mark McGuire. We talked about Lizzie McGuire. We talked about Jerry Maguire. All 3 different spellings of McGuire. I'm going to have to change the title of the last one to reflect that. I can't believe I left that on the table. I only put the 2, right? But M-A-G, M-C-G, right? The other 2 are MCGs, but spelled differently. And then, so Mark Anthony Aguirre, of course, there's a bunch of Mark Anthonys. But Mark Aguirre, I was like, we should probably take a look at this guy, too. Well, he played for the Clippers. And, Adrian Dantley, he got traded. And, let's see. Anything else about him? I don't think I had a ton. I think I just like the Clippers thing. Someone just come and play the effing video. I said, shut your effing trap. Joel Embiid putting on a show right now. Only started the season to record 4 straight 30-point games. We like that when people were saying he was washed. He's always been able to score. I like to see Embiid doing other stuff, to be honest. I've always wished that Embiid would focus more just on honing his defense and just dominating on rebounds, right? More traditional center stuff. And I'm not saying he can't, shoot the ball, but it just feels like he always has to have the ball. I feel like he just stands around when he doesn't have the ball. He doesn't, do off-ball stuff. It's frustrating, right? So I probably missed something there. What's going on? 92 Olympics. Okay, yeah, 92 Olympics. That's a 26 flip for our Mark Aguirre here. That was another one we liked. Coach was looking at Matt Collins, who expected to play well in the NFC Championship, or was it the AFC Championship? I can't remember. Yeah, he was for, the Patriots. Yeah, former Eagle. He was on the Patriots. There was something wild about it. Oh, yeah. So not many highlights in his career because he's a special teamer primarily, but he did get a 64-yard touchdown, and what do you know? This season, 46 catches. So that was a nice little flip. Let's see. He thinks water's a scam. He only drinks water if there's peanut butter M&Ms in it. I don't know. Let's see. Matt Stafford plans to return in 2026 no matter what. That was probably a big hint that we're not getting our big send-off. Why would he come back? I mean, it would be nice to put the Lions over after a Super Bowl, but when you just ride off into the sunset if you're him, tough to say. Oh, Hawks fan tears his ACL during a layup contest. So Coach was thinking Hawks, Seahawks. Miami was in the championship. Miami of Ohio is the Red Hawks. Ben Simmons famously passed in that playoff game. It was against the Hawks. Trae Young just got traded for nothing. A Sixers fan just hit a half-court shot with a golden ball for $10,000. This made Coach a lot happier when he thought the Rams were doing it, but Kurt Rambis, right? So we already talked about the Seahawks have their own Kurt Warner, so there's still a Kurt connection here. We don't need the Rambis for it to tie in, right? So Kurt here, matching the Seahawks, Kurt Warner. He was a Showtime Laker. He's 67, so it seems like we're hot onto something. February 25, so that's a 25-26 thing, right? Let's see. Knicks, I couldn't quite figure him out. And then I think I found something. So what do we got? He was multiple-time champ. Oh, yeah, he started playing in 76, and he's 67, and they call him Superman. So he might go down or something this year. I don't really know what's going on with him. But Shaw, that's huge for us. I thought it was really interesting. He made a cameo appearance. Like, he doesn't do hardly anything, just a few shows, but makes a cameo appearance on Malcolm and Eddie, and we got Malcolm in the middle coming back. This is just some very strange energy. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm glad that's not my team. Now, longest active Super Bowl droughts. Now, this is just some stupid thing on Facebook, so maybe the graphic's wrong. But are we in like some Mandela effect thing, or is Coach just like god-awful at math? Because this makes me think for sure we get Lions-Browns next year. Because remember the whole thing, me starting out, like look at my very first post, my very first videos. The reason I was so convinced on Lions-Browns was there's about to be a 68-year gap for them from their first championship. Or not first, their most recent. And I was like, that's like the Red Sox with their 86. Right? And I was like, that alone certainly wouldn't be enough for me to think much of it. But like, look, like every celebrity in the history of Cleveland just died at like age 68 and 86, and Jim Brown and blah, 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 right? And the statues, but it was all about that number. But somehow we're still not to 68 with the drought, if this is accurate. And I think it is accurate because I'm almost positive that Cardinals one's right on the money. And I know the Eagles one's right and the Chiefs one's right, so very interesting. So, obviously they won it in the 57 season. So I would have thought for sure that was 25-26. But maybe we are looking at 26-27. I think a big clue is our Brownies getting their new stadium. No more mistake by the lake. They did fire their coach. It's not like we're bringing back Stinky Stefanski again. So of course it's all set up for Touchdown Tom to come back. Now let's see. So this cat on the Seahawks with the Cowboys tat, that's probably not good. The Cowboys are like mad cursed right now. You don't want anybody on your team with a tat of another team, especially a team like the Cowboys. Come on, dude. I mean, like, it's not as cursed as like the Cardinals or something, but that can't be good. I'm just saying. Let's see. Oh, Coach watched also the like Air McNair Schmurder, the Bobby Schmurda thing. And so Steve Air McNair, it's got to be like Air Jordan, right? But Steve Air McNair, and the police spokesperson is Don Aaron. Aaron speaks on Air McNair. How cute. So Jeff Fisher, that's definitely one of Coach's, like, he would tell you this is a fake name he would make up, right? If I had to rap about somebody, Jeff Fisher would be near the top of the list because you can just make it like a 2-syllable or 3-syllable word, right? Like, you don't have to pause between saying Jeff and Fisher. It's just Jeff Fisher. So, let's see. He's 67. So, went to coach the Eagles. What do you know? He had like a career-ending injury against the Eagles when he played. Also at the Rams, Michigan Panthers, who were just in the championship, as Coach told you they would be. I'm just so mad. I absolutely destroyed the UFL and got a college championship last year, and we got absolutely like nothing going on right now except the stupid Sixers and Clippers. I got to root for the Sixers and the Clippers. Like, come on. Sixers are easy, even though they've let me down 1,000 times. At least I know how infuriating that can be. It's not going to be anything new there, right? But I got to pull for the freaking Clippers, dude. Oh, my God. All right. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. He's tied with Reeves and Belichick for most regular season losses in NFL history, 165, but has the third most total losses. Oh, tied. Belichick's tied for the most. Wouldn't it be nice if he got that record all to himself by just showing up and losing one freaking game? That's all it would take. Lose one game as a Brownie. You think Belichick could manage that? Okay, and I love that all he's got to do is lose the championship too. Like that's what's missing is he's trailing on the total Super Bowl losses. A win does nothing. He's already the leader, right? So it's just set up too good. They're gonna be getting too old soon. 57 returns in a single season. That's nice for the team that won at 57. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so like he was like assistant to Buddy Ryan. Ryan comes to the Bears. That's another thing. Like Terrence Bud Crawford does the big weight class jump, beats the guy that's been dodging him forever, retires. So Bud Crawford at the same time, Buddy Ryan's team gets over, and Buddy Ryan's team, the Bears, host the draft, get into the playoffs, beat their rival Packers. And then, just in case you thought Coach was crazy about the Bud thing, what do you know? Inability to get a new stadium deal in Houston caused owner Bud Adams to relocate the team for the 1997 season. We already told you about, Fisher here's got 76 stuff, so there's a 97, flipping it for some reason. So here's Kenneth Stanley, Bud Adams. Where does the Bud come from? Who knows? Just throw it in there. So, he was the owner of the Houston Oilers. What did I like about this dude? Other than he owned my Nashville Cats. I went to a Nashville Cats arena football game way back in the day, and it was a blast. I'm still a big fan. No, this was like probably in the early 2000s or late 90s. Let's see. Houston Mavericks. I should have looked into that more. Houston Mavericks. That's definitely interesting. There's more. We'll get there. The coach is just tripping. Who cares about any of this? We'll just keep rolling. So, there's numbers stuff, but... So, this is cool. So, this is the Houston Oilers, right? So, they reached the AFL Championship 4 times in the AFC Championship game 4 times. The 67 flips to 79. They didn't get 92, but do they get maybe there in 26? So something to think about. Who knows? 66 years ago, so this is about to be 67 years ago for the Titans. They might have something going for them. They became the Oilers in 97, left Rice Stadium in 67. Lost the 62, AFL championship game. So that could definitely flip to 26, like I said. Okay, so here's our buddy Cleasy. Coach didn't give him a proper shout down in the crash out video last night. So, hey, Coach, I don't know if you remembered my comment during Rams versus Pats video, Sam Darnold revenge tour narrative. I had Pats versus Seahawks. Instead of Pats versus Rams, it seemed too good to be true. The team that caused the ghost meme happened to my team. Now he's going to conquer the ghost. An underdog story is honestly good. Coach said, of course, he remembers him and extremely pumped that he was around the money and thankful for his comments and looks forward to everything from him in the future. But Coach doesn't want to jump the gun on the Seahawks beating the Pats just yet. And I might not go that way at all. I'm actually thinking I'm going the other way. As weird as that sounds. So, like, as far as what I would want from a fan perspective, right? And, like, Coach's a big fan of not switching the bitch. We had the Pats as the bitch. Why would we switch up now? Well, Coach actually has some really good reasons that we'll get to. But I'll start with some, like, light stuff, like just basic narrative. And then I'll get to, like, the real gut punch, like, oh, you really think this isn't going to bite them? So, the Seahawks, of course, lost to the Patriots in devastating fashion. They could get that back, but the Patriots have beaten the Rams twice. They got no problem beating the same team twice. Okay? And you had a feeling it's too good to be true? Well, I wouldn't completely ignore that feeling, right? Coach would like to see the Seahawks beat the Patriots himself. That doesn't mean that's what we're going to get. I'm thinking, first of all, we know Trump and Kraft are like buddy-buddy. The Patriots are a great boogeyman. This was a terrible season. Right, like this seems like the type of crap nothing season that the Patriots just find a way to weasel out another championship, and okay, so here's like the real gut punch of it. They're playing at Levi Stadium, it's San Fran Stadium, and the Seahawks and the Niners hate each other. Now you could think Darnold's going to go and conquer his old ghosts and rub it in Niners' faces. So Seahawks fans get a nice jolly laugh. Basically a glorified hometown Super Bowl. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more Seahawks fans making that travel than Boston fans. And, as far as like Boston, their Celtics, that's usually the biggest game in town. They've got like a little bit of reason for optimism, but they're without their best player. I don't think any reasonable Celtics fan expects their team to do anything this year. So, all that being said, Levi Stadium is incredibly cursed, specifically with devastating injuries, particularly in the biggest of games. Okay, so I don't think it's a coincidence the NFL chose Levi Stadium, despite it not being a very modern facility. There's nothing particularly special about the stadium. Why there? You know what I mean? Except you can easily explain a brutal injury and attribute it to a curse, or they tell you there's this giant power plant that's right next to it and they increase the voltage by 2,000%. There's players saying they're afraid they're going to get cancer. They've been the most injured team by far. They had the most injured team in the past 20 years. A couple years ago this year, coach had them as the most injured team in the league. And it just would make a lot of sense if the team that's going to lose the Super Bowl and get the Super Bowl losers curse, like the Seahawks potentially, have Sam Darnold go down. If the Seahawks are terrible next year, everybody knows Sam is good. They're not going to want to move on from him just because he got hurt. It sells Sam without him even having to win, especially if maybe they have a little bit of a lead before he gets injured. Who knows, right? But we've seen players at that field get injured on things as silly as running onto the field. There's a lot of non-contact, devastating injuries, not even during the field of play, right? So anything could happen, and I'm definitely thinking we're seeing something bad. And if something bad like that's going to happen, it just feels like it's going to be to the Seahawks. Maybe coach is just shell-shocked from seeing the Patriots win so many. But we've seen them win so many, and they're still just tied with teams like the Steelers. Doesn't it feel like they should have more? The thing against the Patriots is, do they really just get off with getting rid of like the best coach and the best QB ever? That seems crazy, but we don't know of any. I haven't heard of any sort of specific curse relating to that, but you would just think. So it really, it could go either way. Coach isn't feeling super certain, but like gut feeling is telling me Patriots. Like, it's not going to be one we want to watch. It's going to be a crappy Super Bowl, and it's going to be crappy because it's like not even competitive because a major key gets injured for something that's not even like the Seahawks' fault. It's not even a bad block. Sam just like steps back and trips over one of the ghosts he used to see and tears everything. Now, the other thing is, like, what if the Patriots are just Darnold's kryptonite? What if they could have beaten any other team? I don't like the aspect. I'm not sure I like the double revenge aspect. Right? Darnold getting over on the Patriots at the same time. I mean, I guess I do. Because it's like Sirianni getting back at the same time. The Eagles get revenge for the Chiefs' loss, and just like the Eagles getting revenge on the Patriots for the same time. So, like, I guess you definitely want that angle. And I'm certainly not counting out the Seahawks. I already said I'm not going to put in my pick till Saturday. I'm just letting you know what's going around in my brain right now. And this seems, as boring as we want to talk about it, this is one of those that's certainly not as clear cut. Like, it would have been really hard to think that our Rams aren't going to win it if they make it there. Right? So this one, it's like, at least it's a thinker. Like, it seems kind of clear cut, just basic revenge. But Coach loves to overthink, so maybe he'll just overthink and blow up. But anyways, let's move on. So let's see. Yeah, so this was like a month ago where he popped in and said Seahawks versus Patriots this time. Seahawks win and Darnold conquers his ghost, because if you remember the Darnold ghost meme that started was against my team, the Patriots. So he's a Patriots fan. Of course, he wants his Patriots to win. Let's see. So we already talked about the LA riots, right? Oh yeah, so Jimmy Butler tore his ACL when a Niners player was in town. As far as like how that could relate to the Seahawks, I'm almost positive, didn't they have Malcolm Butler or Donald Butler? I should have looked that up, but either one of those guys, that seems right to Coach. So one of those guys had to have been a Seahawk, or both. And let's see, Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL at this stadium. So there's some, you definitely don't want to be a Jimmy. Let's look over the Seahawks roster. Clues they were going to go against the Patriots. Well, Brady Russell seems pretty strong, right? But you could have read that as You could have read that as Seahawks Bills if you're a complete moron, right? Because they got Joe Brady. If you somehow missed the fact that the Bills are hella cursed, you could have bought that. I'm sorry. Coach loves to give people a hard time. Of course, you can make an argument for any team, but it's the Bills. Like, they're the Buffalo Bills. I'm telling you, Buffalo Bill is the serial killer in Silence of the Lambs, and he put it up Joe Dirt's butthole. You really came on my channel saying they were going to do something in the Super Bowl? Shut up. I'm so glad you're all gone. I'm just kidding. I hope you say, but just do better next time. All right, now let's see. Derek Young, right? So that's like Drake. And then we got Anthony Bradford. So that's like Sam Bradford. Sam Darnold just beat Sam Bradford's team. And Anthony, that's like Carmelo Anthony, who we think's coming back. I also like, hold on. So in case you thought that Drake was a stretch, here's Drake straight up going against Drake May. And of course, Drake's Blue Jays were just in the World Series. Kobe Bryant, spelled hella stupid. Right, so Kobe Bryant. And then, all the plays he could be from. He's from freaking Cleveland. When Coach tells you that Kobe Bryant's playing the role of Myles Garrett right now, Cleveland's best player ever, pretty much. Coach was thinking about Levi Stadium. Let's take a look at Levi Strauss here. Born February 26. 226. You throw a 0 in there. That's 2026 for 2026. We're hosting the Super Bowl. Yay! And even better, 1829, flip a 26. Thank you. And in case you didn't think that was enough, of course, he moved to 62nd Street for another flip of 26. So there's, I don't even know. I'm not even getting into it. Let's see. And Coach told you about, so they got the Gold Rush connection, right? So they had a campaign saying they sold their jeans to gold miners during the Gold Rush, but they tell you jeans weren't invented until like 20 years later. We went 1,800 years without jeans, and that's only like post-Christ or whatever. $2.6 billion outstanding debt for the 2026 Super Bowl host. That's cool. Now, let's see. So Coach just wanted to told you he wasn't BSing you with that 84. It was the 1984 season where they won the Super Bowl. Of course, it was technically played in 85, just like how they technically played the Super Bowl in 95. But that was the 94 season and the 84 season. And Coach says, not a coincidence, especially when it says the game was coincidentally played in the home market of one of the participants. Second Super Bowl. Cool. Alrighty, so this is just some like troll meme. Someone saying